I think we're live, Josh.
All right.
All right, guys.
Live.
I'm Bill Meeks, the host of I Made This, COO of Do Anything Media. And Josh, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Josh. Would you like more than that, or is that good?
Well, just get your hat like right up in the camera so people can see where you're from. Broke is no joke.
That's what I hear anyways.
Yeah, and we're here at the Orange County Public Library down in downtown Orlando to record this today. And I thought, it might be fun to go ahead and throw on the live stream. Now, in just a second, I'm going to stop talking to you guys, and I'm just going to be talking to Josh. I'm going to be locked in an interview. We're not going to be looking at chat.
He's secretly in love with me, which is okay.
It's not a secret, Josh.
Now it's not. Now that you just told everyone, dude.
You obviously didn't see my Insta post from earlier.
Oh, that is true. All right, good point.
Nice. All right, hold on. Make sure that's good. Test. Okay, so, and this is the point where we're going to be ignoring you guys, but we love you, and I'll go through any comments and answer them afterward.
Likers. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Josh, basically the way this is set up is, we start, I do a pre-recorded intro where I kind of explain to people who you are, if applicable, what relationship we have, how we know each other, all that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of transitions into the show. So we'll just kind of start loosey-goosey. And I have some questions here. Generally, I only read about half of them because it's just a conversation, right? So,
sounds good, man.
Our improv training, keep yes ending.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting then.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here. Let me just double check my mic here. Cool, I think that's good. Because I didn't bring an extra XLR cable. I almost grabbed one right before I left the house. And I was like, no, I'm sure these are fine. And then this one's kind of loose and janky.
That's why the universe is screwing with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's
for fun.
That's been a lifetime experience, the universe screwing with me. So
absolutely.
I'm used to it, universe. All right, that's the last time I'm going to reference you, phone. All right, so let's see here.
I love God's sense of humor.
Oh, man, now this is all, hold on. $300 microphone, and I'm dying on a $10 cord.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try and not touch the table at all. But
good luck with that.
Oh, thank you. So, Josh, thank you so much for joining me today on I Made This.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Appreciate it.
No problem. It was pretty convenient because, it's Sunday afternoon here in sunny Orlando, Florida. And you were just over at SAT Comedy Lab doing an improv class, and I'm going over there at 7 to do an improv class, so why not meet up in the middle and record a podcast, too?
Makes sense to me.
So let's go ahead and start there, because we actually met because of improv. We met at a sketch comedy writing workshop at the recently deceased Ad Lib Theater up in Winter Park, Florida. So how did you first start looking to get into improv and sketch comedy and all that kind of stuff?
I think it all started when, as I started building out Broke is No Joke and I realized I have a message I need to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out how many different channels can I use to get the message out. Yeah. And I was already an author. I was already doing motivational speaking. And I'm like, let me try comedy. I always love comedy. I like laughing a lot. People laugh at me for no reason, apparently.
So. Oh yeah, the first time I saw you, I just laughed right in your face. I was like, you were ridiculous.
And dude, I was born this way, seriously. Like, I have a face made for radio, so that's why I'm glad we're doing this. And
sorry we're streaming out to Facebook Live, though.
Yeah, and sorry I'm not better looking, but this is what you get.
Well, that's why we put you so far away from the camera, just to kind of soften the features.
I don't care what anyone says, you are a nice guy.
I try to pretend to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, just make it up. Remember, the points don't matter. So, we met at a sketch comedy writing class. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the sketch we did? Because that's hard to forget.
Oh, yeah, it was a chili cook-off, and I just remember, like, Borschkabel, and we'll probably be able to play a little bit.
You were a German cook or something.
Yeah.
It was.
And then it ended up being like a Backstreet Boys reference at the end of it.
Yes.
Which is just right. Unfortunately, I don't have it to play here live in the room, but I will edit it into the podcast because I do have the video.
Did you have it?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Oh, good. That means I have it somewhere.
Yeah. If not, you'll have it on this podcast.
I gotta find that. That was so much fun.
Oh no, because that was great because it was basically We both showed up. I don't think either of us had ever gone down to ad-lib for anything before, had we? Had you?
No, I think that was my first time.
Yeah, and I went because I do the Fakest podcast, which is all sketch comedy, and I was like, maybe I should get some training in this.
I like that. Now that I'm actually doing this, maybe I should get trained in it.
After the first season, after doing 10 hours of content, maybe I should get some training.
By the way, that works great in comedy. Just don't do that when it comes to flying airplanes.
Definitely.
I highly recommend getting trained first before you actually get into the cockpit and fly.
Then why did you let me in the cockpit before I had been trained at all? Because I got to fly your plane a couple months ago.
You did. But that's why I was flying it. You were flying it up once we got up in the air. Look, you can't crash a plane even if you try. As long as I can protect you from doing stupid stuff.
I was going to say, I've been going around bragging to everyone for the past 2 months that I got to fly a plane, and you just told me, no, Bill.
You were flying it. You were. I had to take off and land it, but otherwise you were actually flying.
And then the rest was me. It was all me.
Absolutely. You're awesome, dude.
Nice. But back to the sketch writing workshop. So basically what happened is we went in there, and they wrote a bunch of words up on some paper on the wall, and we did some brainstorming, and we basically went from zero to sketch from zero to actually performing a sketch that we had written in about 2 hours. It was
99, they're sausages.
Fantastic. This chili's fantastic, sir.
This
is fantastic.
Made from the kraut that I love.
Man, this what chili?
In the
Dude, that's very almost as good as last table. This is fantastic chili. All right, what do we got over here?
Oh, here. This is my famous German chili. Borschgeboll.
What, boxy balls?
Borschgeboll.
Awesome. Borky what?
Borschgeboll.
Backstreet Boys? All right, I like it. I love the Backstreet Boys. Let me try this.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Disqualified.
Disqualified, but why?
Sir, this is a chili competition.
There are chilies.
There's no chilies in here.
There are chilies in there.
I don't think so. Single chili.
I made
in
them
this
from
thing.
the sewer crate.
The sewer rat?
The
What?
sewer
The sewer root? The second root? What?
The sewer root.
What are you talking about now?
No, you don't understand. I'm very
You're right, I
famous.
don't understand.
I am very famous TV cook from Germany. I'm on German Bravo.
Well, I don't think
There are chilies, German chilies.
there's any chilies. You say German chilies?
Yeah, how do you not know German chilies?
I don't speak German.
I understand now. How about this very famous dish in my country? Everybody knows all of this song about it. Even children know it.
The song.
So
is
I
it
teach.
a Backstreet Boys song?
No.
Backstreet.
No, I teach the song to you,
Okay.
and then maybe you know the chili better.
Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
okay.
Go for it, Chief.
Ready? Okay. Yole, ole, ole, chili.
Yole, yole, yay, cheese.
Both has to crack, okay,
Oh,
ready? Yole, chili.
Yole, yole, chili.
Close. One more time, we do it together, okay?
I tell you.
Ready?
I haven't
1,
sung
2,
this one.
3. Yole, ole, chili. See, now you know the chili. Go ahead, try it. You'll love it.
Holy moly, boy! This
Yes.
is fantastic. Whoa! Man, you pulled my socks off.
Oh, I can't believe that. I'm
They're
going to
still
win
on.
my
They're-
first
you're
American
on my socks.
contest.
I tell you what, I'll give you second place.
Second place, but who got first?
Well, the Backstreet Boys are in the contest here.
But tell me why.
Because I want it that way.
It was a really intense experience, but it was really a lot of fun. Like,
I actually use that ideation process that we went through with these words. When we convert it to a full sketch, I do that in my business now.
Yeah.
I do messaging. I'm a master messenger for companies for their business identity or for people with their personal identity. So this was such a valuable tool I got just from that one class.
Oh yeah, me too. Because before that, with the Fakest, I had like a junk file of headlines that I would use to write all the fake news stories on the Fakest. But after that workshop, I started writing like a big theme up at the top of the page, like a self-obsession. And then I would just write all these things that remind me of self-obsession, and then put those together to build the stories. And I might be biased, but I think the quality of the podcast went up like 10 degrees when I started using that ideation process that Lauren taught us.
I used to laugh at fake news stories until I realized they're all actually true in Florida.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing you can come up with that has not happened yet in Florida.
Yeah, if it is possible to be imagined, it's happening somewhere in Florida right now, except for maybe snow. No, up north in the state.
Yes. Well, but if it's embarrassing or if it's a blight on the national image, it's offensive, incestuous, any of those things, it's happened in Florida. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm from West Virginia. I think we have more of the incestuous stuff up there. But besides West Virginia has Florida beat.
Sounds like we have a battle royale about to go on here, Florida versus West Virginia. Because I'm a Floridian.
Well, the thing is, there are a lot of sleeper agents here in Florida because so many people I know in West Virginia moved to Florida and then moved back 2 years later. So, I mean, there's a transient population of West Virginians here ready to strike and take you guys down from the
By the way, what does that tell you, though? They moved here for a couple of years and they had to get the heck out because even they couldn't handle how backwards we are.
They were like, I'm going to go back to my old Uncle Grandpa because I can't handle them Florida people.
These Florida people are freaking backward crazy.
Nice. All right. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about why you decided to start up Broke Is No Joke, and maybe a little bit about your corporate background and how you sort of realized that that wasn't the right place for you.
So I grew up as a good soldier. That's how I describe it. I did everything I was told to do. Go to school, Josh. Yes, sir. Go to get your good grades. Get that safe, secure job, which is no longer safe or secure. Put in your 401k, like all this stuff, and I did that. And I was 20 years in corporate America as an engineer and a manager, semiconductors. And one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I wasn't as wealthy as I needed to be. And I climbed the ladder in corporate America, so I actually was successful, quote unquote. Multi six-figure stock options, parking space with my name on it. Plane, like it was happening. Actually, the plane came after corporate America.
Okay.
But all the stuff was going great, and I still wasn't wealthy, I still wasn't happy, and I wasn't free. So freedom was my new favorite F word. I had to escape, I had to get out, and I
got into the financial industry of all places. Because I don't know why. It was just the right opportunity at the right time. And then I found out all the crap the financial industry does for people and how they screw people over and how I started learning all the dirty tricks and all the dirty stuff. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We got to do something about it. So I just started wanting to open up all the cabinet doors and like expose all this stuff to people. And that's where Broke Is No Joke came from. It started off teaching kids about money.
Wow.
It was just a small little program in the schools. And then I'm realizing I'm spending, and I used to tell the kids, every time I would teach them, I'd like, all right, kids, I'm going to teach you things your parents don't know. Please do me a favor. Go home and teach your parents. Guess what? They never did that. They never taught their parents. So I was like, well, I got 2 hours with a kid, but then they're going to go home to their broke-ass parents who are trying their best, but even the parents don't know the stuff I was teaching. And I was like, this isn't going to work. I need to fix the environment, right? Fix the soil. Get rid of the toxins in the soil so the plants can grow properly. Yeah. So I changed, I pivoted, and now I actually teach adults. I teach people every step of freedom. All the stuff you're not supposed to know about, all the stuff you care about, like money and relationships and health and career. And I just want to help people get out of that rat race they're in.
Just out of curiosity, let's go back just a couple steps to giving these talks in schools and stuff. Hey, how did you sort of open up that door for yourself to go to schools and talk to kids about
that? That was easy.
Oh, really?
Look, you're coming to someone and you're saying, I got the cure for cancer. Can I tell you? And they're like, yes, please. Because here's the thing: teachers don't know this stuff. No one's teaching financial education, or at least not the real stuff in schools. Parents were open to it. Schools were open to it. The only one that wasn't open to it was actually local college, where I did come in and speak to them, and I taught people what debt actually was. So when you start teaching what debt truly is inside college, they don't like that too much, because then you get these kids start to like scratch their head and like, maybe I should do the math on this. Maybe I should see if this $100,000 debt I'm in to get this degree is worth it.
Do you have like a sort of like a elevator pitch of what debt actually is?
It's very simple.
Yeah.
So this is what I did during the presentation in front of hundreds of students. I put up a definition of debt. And I told them, I said, here's a definition. Is this a good definition of debt? And it's talking about like how you owe a certain amount of your life to this amount of time, and then someone can take your debt and sell it and all this stuff, right? I said, is this a good definition of debt? Everyone in the room says, yeah, that's a great definition. I said, uh-oh, I am so sorry, I screwed up. I think I got my presentations mixed up. This is actually a definition of indentured servitude. Oh, wow. And everyone, the room was just silent. Like, and the point I was making is, look, it's indentured servitude. That's what you're doing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying do the math. Is it worth it? Back 300 years ago, remember indentured servitude, how it used to work? You want to get to the new lands. You gave 7 years of your life completely to this person who transported you. And then after that 7 years, you were free. You could build your new life. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Now we got people going into debt that will never pay off their student loan debt in 100 years. And I ask them, is that worth it? And they say no. And I say, well, if the answer is no to the ROI, then don't do it. That's not bad. I'm just saying, do the math at least. So that was the eye opener, I think, for the children.
Oh yeah, and with college too, it's gotten so insane. Like I mean, when I went to school, I went to like a really shitty state school, so it was about $4,000 a semester.
Yeah.
But nowadays people would be jumping on that.
Absolutely, I came out with no debt. I went to college like 100 years ago, but I came out with no debt.
Yes, same here. I was very lucky to be the right balance of poor and enough kids left behind me and my family to where, it worked out to where it was all covered by FAFSA and all that. But the people who have to go into debt for it, man, it can ruin your life unless you have, there are some professions where it's worth it. Like, if you're a doctor, or a lawyer or something like that, you will pay out in a few years.
I don't poo-poo school at all. I don't poo-poo going into debt for it, but debt's like a knife. Mm-hmm. You can save someone's life surgically with it, or you can cut your own jugular by accident. Like, it's a tool. Know how to use it. Be competent with it, and go use it the right way. That's my challenge to kids. Yeah,
and the problem is so many lenders, like credit card companies, especially things like that, they structure it to encourage you to use your credit and then not pay it off so they can make like the maximum amount of money. And they give you all these incentives that work against your best interests.
They sell Band-Aids.
Yeah.
They want you to cut yourself so they can sell you a Band-Aid. That's it.
Yeah. And then they have all these carrots that they dangle in front of you, like cashback rewards and frequent flyer miles, or we'll send you a coffee pot,
right?
Down to ridiculous stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we go to the day you decided once and for all that you were going to leave your corporate job? What made you kind of go over that line and realize that's what you were going to do, and how did you approach it, and how did you feel after that?
Well, I had a series of wake-up calls that kind of shook me. The first one was when I realized my 401k, after max funding it for 18 years, was never going to retire me.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay, at least according to this thing called math.
Yeah,
Just mathematically impossible to frickin' retire me. So that made me mad, as you can imagine. But here's what pissed me off. What pissed me off is when I realized it wasn't designed to retire me, and I wasn't supposed to know that until it was too late, till I was 65 and I tried it.
Yeah.
That made me so upset, dude. I started opening up all the cabinet doors, like I said. I started wondering, like, what else was I lied to about? I started looking at my career, my health, my relationships with my spouse, like all this kind of stuff. Like, what else am I missing? And I got voracious about personal development. I started reading all these books, like, what do the wealthy know that I don't? Because they're doing something different. They're thinking different. They're doing different. What am I missing? Yeah. And the more I read and the more I dug into how the universe works and just basically human nature, all these things that were not taught in school, I could no longer sit in the gray jail cell, the cubicle, I mean. I couldn't sit in that gray cubicle anymore. It was driving me nuts. So I had to get out. I would have gone crazy.
Yeah. Was there any book that kind of really like spoke to you in that way? There
were a lot of books. I could tell you my first book. For some reason, I just remember my first book I ever read, and I was 29 years old, and it was Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there was one concept in this book that just blew me away. There's like a circle of control, which is all those things you can control, and then bigger circle around that was a circle of concern, which is all the stuff you care about, but maybe you can't always control directly. And the point he made is you can't control these things directly, but you can control your attitude towards them. You can control how you respond or react to these things. And when I realized I was in control of everything in my life, if I flipped like a switch. It was just like day and night. Suddenly, all the anger, all the road rage, all the stress, all the stuff I was going through, it was gone. I was like, wait a minute. If I'm in control, if I can choose to be happy or not, stressed or not, angry or not, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be stressed. I haven't been offended in years. Yeah. You realize that? I haven't been angry at a person in years.
Well, this sounds like a challenge. Hold on. I have a
Please,
quick 5
bring it,
minutes
like-
on everything indecent in the world. No.
No, it's a weird feeling to like not even. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
It's a freeing feeling.
I kind of preach that to my kids a lot, that you can't control the things that make you mad or sad, but you can control how you deal with those feelings and how you
Yes.
react to those things. You know,
Yes.
and that's sort of your responsibility as a person too. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, there are times where it's justified to be extremely angry or extremely sad. But you do have some control in that, and the extremity of, you know, how
Right.
much you react. You know,
Here's the real question that we all have to ask: does it serve me or does it not serve me? Mm-hmm. If it serves you to get mad, to get angry,
yeah,
and when I say serve you, it helps you get to a goal that you're shooting for. It helps you to achieve a purpose that you want, like a desired purpose, not something you don't want, but something you actually
Yeah.
want. It helps you become the person you're meant to become. Do it. There's just so few instances where me getting mad actually served a good purpose in my life. Which is why, in general, I just don't do it.
yeah. I kind of use the same you know, judgment, but it's more about, to me, it's like, is reacting in a negative way here, is it going to be more productive than finding a more positive way to react to it?
Right.
And you know, I think having good control of your emotions, it can do nothing but help you. Like, I mean,
Sometimes I think I'm Vulcan. Like, that's how much I have control. I'm like, sometimes I over control my emotions. People are like, "Are you alive?" They're like poking me.
Yeah.
Is he alive? So, I'm here.
yeah, but it's what was I going to say? Bill, edit this out. I always
Yeah.
tell myself to edit.
How you respond to
Yeah,
things.
yeah. But you know, for example, I've been in situations. I've had a gun pulled on me twice in my life, and I don't think if I had been angry in those situations, or if I had had a gun, I don't think I would have walked out of either of those situations
Were they trying to
alive.
mug you, or what was the?
One was someone trying to mug me, and another one was a drunken hillbilly friend from those West Virginia days.
Oh, boy.
Who had a beer or too many.
Little moonshine?
Yeah, well, I think it was mainly beer, which is the worst part. But then he was just like, "Oh, it'd be funny to, you know, take this gun and point it at my friend just for funsies," and it was not.
Was his name
funsies.
Dick Cheney by chance?
It was not. It was not. That was a
Boy,
separate incident.
I was just curious. Sorry.
No, me and Dick Cheney haven't been friends in at least 5 or 6 years. We had sort of this big falling out because, you know, he kind of left the presidency, you know, office and everything.
He wanted to take over the world and you didn't? Is that really what happened?
Well,
You could be honest with us.
We both wanted to take over the world, but he wanted to do it with violence. I wanted to do it with kindness. And he wasn't a big fan of that. Like, I basically just wanted to do a big balloon drop across the entire world, drown people in balloons, and then by the time they fight their way out, I've seized the means of power. You know.
Okay, interesting.
Well-
So after he called you a wimp, he probably just checked out. That was it.
Yeah, but it's fine because, you know, the balloons are coming for him.
Oh yeah.
One
That's
day.
her. Hopefully he still has his gun. He can shoot the balloons right in the face. You should put faces on the balloons. How awesome would that be?
That would be good. I'm trying to think of who would be the most disturbing face to put on there for Dick Cheney.
Wow, that's a good one. Ooh.
Maybe just like every Democratic
I was just
president
gonna
in his
say.
lifetime.
Yes. Can you do an amalgamation of all the Democratic presidents?
Or you know, with the way I've heard the old guard feels about the new guard, maybe you could just do Donald Trump and be done with it. Because I've heard that the Bush administration does not
Not a fan.
like the Trump administration.
Not a
very
fan.
much.
Not a fan. I think Trump has two fans. I think Vladimir Putin and
Himself.
yes, there you go. There you go. Himself.
And everyone else just patiently tolerates him.
Yeah, like a screaming toddler. That's okay.
Okay, so when you decided to leave your job, what were your first steps in trying to, you know, get Broke is No Joke together?
Well, the first thing was it was a little confusing. After I pivoted and realized I wanted to help adults, I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff out there that are supposedly helping adults. So I had to really get some clarity on my message, on what is my angle? What are my talents and skills? That was the other thing. I have learned so much about myself in the process. Like, I'm good at rhyming. I had made a list of all my skills and talents and things I'm
Yeah.
good at. 'Cause I'm like, well, if I'm going to use anything, I might as well use the stuff I'm good at. I'm good at rhyming, good at speaking, building relationships. I'm a speed eater. Ironically, I'm not using that, by the way. That's just one of those things I had to write down.
Well, that's also like a good backup career for you. If, broke is no joke doesn't work out, you can go compete against Kobayashi.
Doing the hot dog. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Nathan's hot dog eating contest. See, I
Exactly.
wouldn't do that to myself. That just sounds gross to me.
Yeah. It's
Sushi. I'll go sushi eating contest. I've stacked plates this high. Like,
Yes.
I know everyone can see this on the radio here, but like,
Sushi, I could go all day on. I could absolutely go all day on. Hot dogs, I feel like 25 would probably be my upper limit.
I haven't done any official competitions, but I've never come in second place to anyone I went out to eat with. Like, I took first, second, and third myself, and then they usually came in fourth.
Nice.
And they were crying at the time because what they witnessed, how fast I ate and how much I ate, it just didn't jive with their reality, and
Yeah.
I think they were openly weeping.
The human part of them
crazy.
just rejected it as
It was just
impossible.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not proud of it, by the way. I'm not saying this to brag that I could speed eat. I'm just saying it's one of my talents I had to list down with all my other stuff to figure out how do I take my talents and skills and then monetize it.
Yeah.
Because we're taught, go make money doing what you hate, spend most of your life doing that so you can make some money to go spend a little bit of that money doing what you love and a small portion of your life doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy. I think it's backwards. I think we should be doing what we love, understand the business aspect and how to monetize it, and then go provide value to the world. And then you don't have to retire.
Yeah.
This whole thing about retirement, then I started realizing, what was I trying to retire from? People only retire because they hate their job. If you love what you did and you got paid too much money, would you ever retire? Of course not.
Yeah, I've always said that, I can't see myself ever retiring just because, I have so many interests that even if I do retire, I'm going to spend all my time writing a book or writing, a new podcast or something like that.
Retirement is a false premise
Yeah.
that we were sold growing up.
Yeah, there's also, probably a pretty good reason why a lot of people, they work 60 years for the same company 2 weeks after they retire.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very true.
They used to, man.
But they retire and then 2 weeks later they end up passing away or something.
Yeah,
They're just
they
like
lost their purpose.
Yeah, they don't have a reason to keep going. And I don't necessarily find that sad, but I do think it's interesting that humans are driven to be productive and to do things and follow their heart. And when they lose an outlet to do that, a lot of times they'll just fade right away. Just because I think that's kind of what being human is.
Yeah.
Is wanting and working towards and stuff like that.
Striving.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be worth it. There's a big difference between the two, right?
Yeah.
Life
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
The seed has to struggle out of the shell so it can start to sprout. Everything has to struggle in nature, and that's okay. The question is what you're struggling with, is it going to be worth it in the end? And
Yeah.
most people struggle at a dead-end job. They struggle in a dead-end relationship, where at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And that's why people get very unhappy and stressed.
So they just struggle, but they don't get any of the satisfaction of getting what they want out of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So either they're doing the wrong thing, or this is even worse. This is more insidious. They're on the 99-yard line. They struggled they're all the way down the field. All this struggle, all this pain. They're beat up, they're bruised, they're bleeding, they're tired, and they give up just before success. Like they're right on the 99-yard line. I know that's not a football term. I understand it's the 1-yard line. Thank you, but it's Super Bowl day, so what the heck? So,
I don't sports, so you could say anything, and I
Okay.
will just nod and
So
smile.
on the 135th-yard line, parallel of they're so close, and that's when they give up. And that is like the worst thing in the world. You paid the price, but you got zero of the reward because you gave up too soon.
Yeah.
Secret to success? 3 words. In Western civilization anyways. Start, don't quit. Most people never start. They don't get off the couch. They don't think they're worth it. They don't think they have what it takes. They've been told they're stupid. They've been told that they're no good. They don't see themselves being successful ever, so they never start. But the ones that start, a lot of them, too many of them, quit just before success. Start, don't quit. If you follow that mantra, you can't lose.
Yeah, and I was telling you a little bit before we started recording. I just finished a book on fan podcasting that's going to be coming out sometime around the same time as this
Can't wait.
podcast. But that's kind of the point I make in the last chapter too, is that, if you want to do this and you want to be successful at it, you have to get good. And you're not going to get good sitting there worrying about getting good. You have to jump in and you have to do the thing you want to do, even if you suck at it at
Yep.
first, and you'll eventually get good.
Yes. Start ugly, but starting ugly doesn't mean you have to stay ugly.
Yeah.
So you got to be bad before you're good. Go for it. Get dirty. I agree with you 100%.
All right, so let's see here, and this will be an edit point. I'm trying to inform them about the podcast
Edit
process
point.
as we go. Edit point here, which, by the way,
Point.
maybe a little bit for these guys watching us in terms of,
guys.
a learning lesson. I forgot to hit the record button, and I realized it about 3 minutes into our conversation. Luckily, I'm streaming this out on Facebook Live, so I probably have a backup, but I might, at the end of this, have us go back and re-record that first couple minutes talking about
That's
Lauren
fine.
and
I have
everything.
no idea what we talked about. That's cool.
Lauren, sketch comedy,
yes,
all that
yes,
stuff. So,
okay.
so we might go back in a few minutes here, but that's just all about the reality of it. All right, so
Wait a minute. You're recording this?
I am recording this, and it's streaming live, and also
Holy crap.
the CIA is getting, the entire
getting-
feed.
Yeah.
The entire feed.
They're probably sleeping right now. And they're like, oh, this guy again.
All right, so let's go ahead. We'll get into the execution part here. Okay. So, Josh, what?
Yes.
And this is a very general question.
Okay.
This is for the people who have no familiarity with you whatsoever. Trust me, I've known you for a while now.
Fine. I'm a Libra. Short walks on the beach, not long ones. And I really don't like water.
That's
At least
true.
going into the water.
Last time we talked about this, you said you preferred medium walks on the beach. So that has changed.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fair enough. The more medium walks I've done, I've realized that's too long. I wanted to shorten it up, get a little more tidy
Yeah.
in my older age.
Well, yeah, definitely. Because, you only have so many years to walk on the beach, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay, so what the hell does Broke is No Joke do? Why don't you just give us a brief idea of how people can take advantage of Broke is No Joke?
All right, I'll keep this to about 3 hours.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Broke is No Joke is the movement towards true freedom. What I mean by that, it's the exposure of the truth you're not supposed to know about all those things you care about. So it's an edutainment platform. It asks questions nobody wants to ask, but these are the questions that get the answers everybody wants. Right? Why do I struggle with money? Why do I have so much anger in my relationships? Why do my kids hate me? All these things that we struggle with that we're not prepared to handle in life, we ask those questions. We get people thinking a little different. I'm the wake-up call. Broke is No Joke is the wake-up call. You've heard about the comfort zone and people being zombies and just going through life like they're in the rat race.
Yeah.
This is that wake-up call. This is what's shaking their cage a little bit to say, hey, are you really fulfilling your potential? Are you really doing everything you can? At the end of your days, when your book is closed, is that going to be a bestseller? Are you going to be proud of what's written in your book of your life? Or is it going to be like on the bottom shelf of a Goodwill?
Yeah.
Questions like that. First thing I do if I work with someone on a coaching, I have them write their eulogy. Write your freaking eulogy. I want to know exactly what your legacy is going to be. Ideal eulogy, not the one you're going to have now, right? Most people are like, well, now my eulogy sucks. It's going to say, I was really good washing my blue jeans. Or like, they had the most boring life.
I ate 14 pounds of sushi.
Yeah, exactly. That's their claim to fame, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about your ideal eulogy. What are you going to leave behind, that legacy? What are people going to say about you? How did you impact their life? And we go into detail. They have a detailed eulogy, and we start with that. And I said, okay, now that you know what your ideal life looks like, let's spend the rest of that life helping you become the person worthy of that eulogy being read. Right? That's honestly, Broke is No Joke is just focused on that. But we do it through many different ways, through comedy, through writing, through speaking, through poetry. I've got a record label, Broken Word, that we're going to be doing some hip hop, rap, spoken word, and elevating that here in Orlando, especially because there's no big stage for these arts, and there's lots of talented people.
Oh, yeah.
So there's so much talent out there, man.
Well,
so much talent.
I wanted to ask you about that because, we're friends on Facebook and Insta and everything. And I see you posting all the time about, like, here I'm at this cool, like, theatrical experimental thing.
Oh, yeah, for kids. We did that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
or here I'm at this, networking event where there's all these really cool people. So what do you think here in Orlando? What's the coolest sort of creator, artist, or business that you've seen and you've helped out?
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. The one I was at the other night I thought was excellent. It's this Exis Unite is what it's called, and they help troubled youth. They put on a performance where the youth actually directed it, wrote the play, and performed in it, all of it.
Oh,
and they
wow.
just had a couple adults just guiding them, making sure it was within bounds, and they did a fantastic job. And every single one of those afterwards, they kind of interviewed them.
Yeah.
They said this was the most impactful thing I ever did. I never thought I could do it. I wasn't sure about it. And their identity just got raised a little bit. And when your identity gets raised, your self-worth, your self-belief, all of a sudden you start being able to do more things. You have more confidence. And it's life-changing for people. So just simple things like that. Things don't have to be grand. You don't have things like on a grand stage with thousands of people.
Yeah.
Just there were maybe 300 people in the audience there. Just the small things like that happening over and over is what's going to impact the community.
Well, I think, the theatrical arts are so good for that too, because, there's nothing scarier, especially if you've never done it before, than getting up on a stage in front of people and speaking, especially if you have to like memorize lines. That's a
Yes.
big stressor. And once you get up there and you do it well or you fail at it, you're like, okay, well, I was able to survive that. And it just gives you this whole level of confidence in every area of your life. I still think probably the smartest thing I ever did in high school was audition for the high school play because my girlfriend wanted me to.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and just that one little decision, gave me the confidence to just kind of launch me off into, the career I have now and the career I'm trying to build with the new company and everything.
And this play in particular, by the way, part of it was helping teens and parents communicate so that teens felt like there was a safe space. So they were talking about their own personal stories.
Oh, wow.
That's how they were doing it. So that's how the play was based. And there were some parents in the audience that stood up and says, thank you. I did not know that you felt that way. I didn't know you were going through that. So it starts to bridge that communication between the generations.
Yeah.
I mean, this is stuff like, it's incredible. They should take it on the road. So anyways.
And so you're saying that the things they're saying on stage, they're real things from their real life.
Yes.
That's amazing, and
It's huge.
It's great that they're opening up conversations like that too. Very, very cool stuff. Where can people check them out?
Exodus United is what they're called. I think they're under Exodus United Inc. on Facebook. It's a local organization here, and they're doing great stuff. I'm not part of it, so I can't talk like a spokesperson. I'm just talking as a fan only, as a supporter. We did.
Well, that's better than a spokesperson anyway, because you actually care about it.
I have a marketing company. We did the commercial for them that they used to advertise beforehand, so they can get the word out.
Very nice.
We went to one of their practices. I'm like, these kids are amazing. Let's tape them. Let's film them. So that was cool.
Nice. Let's see here. Edit here, Bill.
Edit here.
Okay, so what does your average day look like with Broke Is No Joke?
Average day.
Your average day.
So the true answer is I don't have average days. But I guess I start with a morning routine like I recommend to all of my clients or anyone I talk to. Start your day with intention.
Yeah.
So I have breathing exercises. I drink a certain amount of water. I'm reading my my goals, and I'm reading my affirmations. I have a whole little story affirmation I read to myself. I talk to myself. Which, by the way, if you would have talked to me, let's say 7 years ago, and you would have said I would have been doing this woo-woo stuff, this affirmations, and talking to yourself. Dude? I would have kicked my own ass. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like I am the furthest thing from where I used to be, from where I thought I would ever be.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I grew up very much with like a punk rock attitude, screw the system, man.
I've seen some pictures. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I sent you some for the thing. But so I grew up with that sort of attitude, and all the self-help stuff and all the stuff. I always thought, oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. But then I don't know. I hit like my mid-30s, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, wait, that all makes a lot of sense.
Yes,
like a lot of sense. And I'm probably being tricked right now, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, because the techniques and stuff I'm learning from these books are working.
My online courses, I call them Broke Is No Joke brainwashing. I call it brainwashing. Nice. Because I feel our minds are so dirty. We were so crapped on during our formative years that our brain needs a good scrub every now and then. We need a little washing and clean off some of the dirt.
Yeah.
So it's brainwashing.
Absolutely. I kind of rear back when you say that just because there's such a negative connotation with that word. But then you flip it and you put a little spice on
brain
it. Yeah.
wash.
Yeah, got to
clean it.
We're scrub it up.
The brain, yeah.
Scrub it up. Throw some Dawn dish detergent in your.
Dawn works good, although I actually prefer palm olive. I don't know what it is. They have a special ingredient in there that just my hands get softer too.
I've always been very anti palm olive just because of the name. Because
you're a Publix guy. You're a Publix guy, aren't you?
Well, it's a weird name because it's palm olive. It's palm olive, but it has like an O in the middle, so it's like palm olive is what I always called it when I was a kid, and then people started correcting me, and I was like, no, it's palm olive.
No, it has an O because it's palm olive.
Palm olive.
Palm olive. I don't know what a palm olive is, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is that a real fruit or a thing?
I don't know. We're going to shut this down, and we have to go investigate.
Olive.
Okay, we're going to go investigate.
Okay.
I just went to the library out here and looked it up, and palm olives are a real thing.
Point of order. Why did you go to a library to look anything up?
Because I don't know how to use computers, sadly. I'm really bad with computers. So.
I understand.
Yeah, it's
we got to get you there, man.
Yeah. One of these days I'll be able to load up a website and play some solitaire or something like that.
Yeah, you really are in the roaring 20s. You're taking this roaring 20s thing a little too seriously.
Well, I am actually drunk right now too, so you're right.
Absolutely. Hey, that's prohibited. You can't be doing that kind of stuff right now.
Well, it sucks too because my New Year's resolution was to stop drinking like it was the 1920s. This is a nice little segue to talk about. You were telling me before we started recording that you're putting together a course about goal setting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and why you think goal setting is so important?
Oh my goodness. Goal setting is the start of it all, right? If without goals, why even get out of bed in the morning? Goal setting is super, super important to me. My big thing is I want people to have a 2020. Like, do you realize that there's an epidemic out there, man? We didn't even talk about this. Most people will not have a 2020.
Like, at all?
At all.
Like
they will not have a 2020.
They're just going to skip the year.
Yes.
Wow.
They're going to do a repeat. They might have a 2019 part 2, a 2018 part 3. I have some friends from back in my corporate America days that are in 1995 part 25.
I have some West Virginia friends who are in the same boat. They are still exactly where they were in 1995.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same income, same stress, same drama, same problem, same complaints, same blah, blah. That's terrible. That's like Groundhog Year. I don't believe in Groundhog Years. Like, why not? If you're going to have a 2020, a real 2020, something's got to be different. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
So what's it going to be? That's goal setting in a nutshell. What are you going to do different? What are you going to accomplish, achieve? I even just challenge people, give me one thing, not 50 goals, not 30 goals, not 10 goals. One thing that you can accomplish that will make this year the best year you've ever had, and go do it. And I had to put together a goal setting course because most people don't know how to approach that. Well, how do I do that? What's the process? What about distractions? What about all this stuff? And so I go all the way from the practicality to the mindset of it. And I call it goal crushing, actually, because achieving is fun, but crushing a goal is awesome.
Just obliterating it, destroying it.
Absolutely. 10xing it. Whatever you thought you were going to do it sooner and do it better. Why not? Yeah. If not that, then what are you doing? Why get out of bed? Just stay in bed.
I really appreciate too. I think you were talking. I don't know if you said it here just now, but you were saying it earlier about the difference between like a New Year's resolution and setting an actual goal. Because you were talking about how so many people fail in their New Year's resolutions. Right?
75% of people in the U.S. have already given up on all their New Year's resolutions by January 31st. 92% by the end of the year.
Wow.
So think about that. If you give up in January, you got 11 months to wait till the next. So my challenge for people, I'm like, first of all, you were lied to. New Year's is not January 1st. You heard that, right? You heard about New Year's being January 1st?
Yeah.
That's actually
it's actually
not New Year's.
My birthday, so that's kind of cemented in my head.
Happy birthday.
I'm really interested to see what you say next.
Actually, I should say happy birthday because I don't believe that's another whole thing. We'll talk about some other time if you ever want to. I don't celebrate birthdays for a very good reason, and I'm not Mormon or Jehovah. I don't know which one doesn't do
Jehovah's Witness.
Is it Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
Okay, the JWs.
Well, we're here. Tell me real quick. I'm kind of curious now.
Oh, boy.
the
You
birthday.
sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'll give you a little bit of this.
Yeah, just a tasting.
Okay. So when we celebrate a birthday, what are we saying? What are we in a first world country? What are we actually saying when we celebrate a birthday?
Congratulations for not dying.
Correct.
Yeah.
You managed to feed yourself and not die in a first world country. Isn't that kind of a low bar? Should you get presents for that? Should you be given physical things and hugs and celebrations and eat? And then you got to eat cake, which is destroying your health. So I guess in that sense, congratulations for not dying right that year. But it just seems like such a low bar. I'm all for celebration, celebrate accomplishments, celebrate on purpose, for things, for reasons.
Yeah.
But your birthday now you're in a third world country. You don't have clean water. You don't have running water, and you survive. Happy freaking birthday!
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah! High five! You made it to 8 years old. Awesome. But in a first world country, boy, that's a low bar. That's just it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I've always been very awkward about people celebrating my birthday too. In fact, I tell my wife and kids, don't buy me anything. Let's not do anything really special. I have one tradition, go out for a breakfast buffet on January 1st that I've done since I was a kid. But besides that, I'm don't make a big deal out of it because it just makes me feel awkward.
Right. Me too.
Because I'm
an introvert, so I don't know if you're an introvert too. I'm an extreme introvert.
I'm an intro extrovert. I'm a little bit of both. It's a weird place to be.
So you're vert neutral.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not go there, man.
I'm Switzerland.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going to go the gender route. I'm not quite sure what I am. I define it on the day or something okay, yeah, sure.
But no, with the birthdays thing, I think that I feel so awkward about them because, like you were saying, I didn't really do anything to deserve any sort of big celebration of me. I mean, there were probably things I did throughout the year that were pretty awesome that, yeah, sure, you could celebrate about. But at the same time, it feels really weird to pick this day I happened to be born.
And your mom did all the work, by the way, on that day. So,
exactly. So I mean, it just feels weird to bust out a cake for me on that day,
Yeah.
That being said, it was really nice having a birthday on January 1st when I was younger, because we could party all night for New Year's Eve, wake up at 8 or 10 in the morning whenever we enroll out drunken to Denny's or something to get a nice big greasy breakfast.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Work it all off.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a cynical asshole when I say stuff like this, but it's just I want to raise the bar for people. I want us to be shooting for something higher than that.
Yeah, and goal setting.
It's out of love.
Yeah, and goal setting's a part of that. My friend Brian Brushwood, who, if you're listening to this podcast, he was on the podcast a week ago. But he always says that, goal setting is magic. Once you set a goal and you write it down, it's magic. It will happen. And that was kind of proven to me. I went to Indonesia with him a number of years ago to help him shoot a episode of his show Scam School. And one night we were at the hotel bar drinking late at night, and he made me sit down and write down my goals. Those goals were take this dog boy character I have and finally write a book with them. Now I have 5 dog boy books that I've written, or 4.5 dog boy books that I've written. Start a podcast. I am now, to the point where I've started a bunch of podcasts. They were successful. I quit them, and now I've written a book about them. And we were talking back through this, and I realized that every goal I wrote down on that list, that drunken night in Indonesia, ended up being some of the most impactful things I've done in the time since. The biggest things that have happened in my life are all because of that magical list he had me write down. And it's just amazing how goals can do that.
It goes back to my favorite C word, clarity. Having clarity, knowing why you get out of bed in the morning, what other than an alarm clock, other than the reasons you don't like, sitting in traffic and getting to a job you hate and all that. What is your purpose? Why even wake up?
Yeah.
So setting those goals and being clear on that, and then accomplishing that is just there's no better feeling than to set a goal and accomplish it.
And I think sometimes when you quantify it and actually put it down there in black and white, you can surprise yourself too. You can see threads in the goals you write down that you didn't realize were actual desires you had. I brought up the Dog Boy books as an example. I didn't realize that I wanted to write an adventure series for kids until I wrote down that goal and saw it next to one of my other goals, and I was like, oh, wait a second, this is what I'm actually trying to do, and it feels right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, yeah, goals are super, super important in that respect.
Yeah, you're actually putting together a course about goals.
Of course,
right
a whole
now.
online workshop, self-paced at your own, but I'm giving all the real stuff, all the good stuff I used to teach to entrepreneurs about not just setting, because everyone can set goals or SMART goals, and everyone talks about how to set goals,
Yeah.
and then writing them down is a good first step, but there's so many other little aspects to it. There's the accountability aspect, and there's the mindset of not quitting when the going gets tough, and
Yeah.
all these other little things that we don't realize need to be part of that overall picture. And your goals have to be in alignment with your bigger purpose. If you're going to set a goal that's just kind of doesn't serve you to become the person you want to become or have that eulogy we talked about or
Yeah.
that legacy, you're probably not going to do it either. So you got to make sure your goals are in alignment. And then how do you break them down to the ridiculous, I call it. That's so important because people set these big goals. I want to make $1 million. Okay, great. Now let's start backing that off to what do you need to actually do as far as, because see, we don't control results. Here's one of the biggest things where every time I say this, people are like, what are you talking about? We have zero direct control over our results. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
We can only control our actions. And we take the right actions, we get the right results.
Yeah.
So if you can't control the results, if you can't control the $1 million that you earn this year, that you want to earn, what are those activities that will get you there that you can control? And are you willing to commit to doing them?
Yeah.
Right?
So you can't control the outcome, but you can
Cannot.
control your actions, which are based on your intentions.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to make $1 million. How many sales in your business do you have to make to earn $1 million? Once you know that, can you control who buys? Nope. So you can't control how many sales you make. However, you can control how many appointments you go on. Or the next step down is appointments. How many appointments do you have to be on to get that many sales? Let's assume a 50% close ratio.
Yeah.
But you can't control who shows up on the appointment. So let's back it up one more time. So you got to make calls or invite people for the appointments. Now, do you have direct control over that? That's an activity you can say, I can make 10 calls a day. I can make 20 calls a day.
I can sit down and for 8 hours and only make calls until I, get enough people.
So think about what we did. We took a nebulous $1 million that you're like, I can't do that. I've never made more than 100,000 in a year. How am I going to do $1 million? And I broke it down to 10 calls a day, which you have 100% full control over to get to that $1 million if your number ratios are right. You now can actually get that $1 million. I proved it. It's in numbers. It's in writing, and that it just changes.
Well, screw this podcast. I'm going to get $1 million.
There you go. We just got to figure out what your business is that's going to do that, right?
Yeah.
But that's the idea. So there's so many little aspects that we're not taught. This isn't taught in schools. This isn't taught from our parents.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm going to put all into one goal crushing course and go for it.
Yeah, and you said that's coming out sometime in February, right?
Yeah. Mid-February, we're going to start the marketing for it. I already did the video, and we're in post right now on that. And
excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I got 30 more courses in my brains. Like I have to get, like you do the books. I've got another 30 different aspects of not just goals, but all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I wrote this podcasting book, and I'm down like today or tomorrow. I'm going to be done with the final edit of it. And I just realized how much I loved it and how many ideas I have for other books to kind of teach people, and it's just sometimes when you get into a project like that, about halfway through, you realize, oh no, wait a second. This is like one of the things I should be doing all the time.
That's how the universe works. When you have intention, all of a sudden it keeps feeding you more of what you intend, more of what you want.
So why don't you, and if you're not ready to talk about this, we can.
I can talk about anything. Are you kidding? Unless you're talking about that corn on my foot. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
Let's talk a little bit about. This is a sort of a new thing you're about to start up, I think, called Binge TV, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's still very new.
Let's talk about that just because you interviewed me for something on it.
Yes.
So I figured it'd be good to talk about it.
So Binge TV, broke is no joke. Binge TV, and it's really designed to be the Netflix of personal development. I want it to be your best friend. You know how all those friends you have right now, they say your associations. You look at the 5 people you hang out with the most, and it could pretty much predict your income, your level of happiness, your level of stress, all that kind of stuff. So while you're hanging out with those people that are keeping you where you are, what if you had a best friend, someone who actually saw more in you than you see in yourself, that can kind of lift you up when you need it? But it's not a person; it's a station, it's a TV channel. Yeah, that's what Binge TV is, and we're creating the first program called Showing Aces, where so you get to go flying. So we actually interview people in the hangar, and we interview 1%ers. Because there's a myth about 1%ers that 1%ers are bad. They're keeping their thumb on us, or these rich people, they don't care about everyone else, the 99%. Yeah. But that's not the 1% I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of people that are willing to do what the 99% don't want to do, are afraid to do, don't think they can do. So they're setting the example. And you're a 1%er. You're setting the example for people to look up to and say, wow, if he can do it, so can I. And that's what that's what the show is about. So this is the first show. I'm always looking for more content, for more people, as long as it's positive and it helps build people up.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm all about. Like, I'm getting into hip hop, rap, and these other things. What I refuse to do is I refuse to do the part of spoken word or hip hop or rap where it's negative, where it's all about problems and this issue and that issue. There's a place for that, and I appreciate that, and that's good self-expression. I love it. But that's not where I want to play. I want to play, if you're going to shit on my carpet, at least clean it up, right? At least, it's okay. Let's take your dump. You got problems? Awesome. Let's go ahead and clean up. Show me the blessing in the adversity. That's my requirement for every single thing I produce. I will always talk about the blessing in the adversity. We'll talk about the adversity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The real stuff. Like, not sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
But then we're going to find the blessing. We're going to find the light at the end of the tunnel. The one that isn't a train. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's good. And I think that's one of the reasons why we connected so well back when we did that sketch comedy workshop that we were talking about at the beginning that we're probably going to have to re-record. But just because I think we're both very similar people in that we like helping other people and we like building things with other people. We like collaboration, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just think, because I remember we had this... we had a dinner before we went to another workshop at AdLib a couple.
We went for Thai.
A couple months after the sketch comedy thing, and we got to talking, and I just realized, we're so simpatico. We're tackling the same problem, which is people wanting to accomplish their dreams from sort of two different angles. You're giving them sort of like a solid sort of lifestyle approach and business approach to accomplishing their dreams, and I'm going in there and trying to show them practically how they can accomplish their dreams creatively, even if they don't have a lot of resources.
Right.
So I think we're both speaking to the same audience, just from two different ears.
And when you say resources, you mean monetary or financial resources like that.
Yeah. Where
really, if you're creative, you've got an infinite supply of resources. You can't, if you truly let your creativity out. You can't be stopped. It's just we get shy. We tell ourselves, or your parents say, oh, honey, there's no money in that. Oh, you want to be creative? You want to draw pictures? That's nice, honey, but there's no money in that. And it kills our spirit. They break our will. Bill, they break our will when we're young. So...
They broke the bill when I was young.
Yeah.
No, but it's because my history, we never had a lot of money laying around for equipment or training or resources for me to kind of learn how to do all this stuff. So I'm very much a self-starter. And I think it's great that, there's someone out there trying to get people those kind of resources or teach them how to get them themselves so they can kind of push forward and accomplish their dreams. And that's what I'm hoping to do too, is just, be the person I didn't have when I was 13, the person to kind of advise me and get me to where I want to be,
I figured if we're taught how to fail, we can forget how to fail. So it's how do you help someone forget how to fail? Remove the blocks and the boundaries and the cage that they built around themselves. How do you do that? There's a process to it. I think I figured it out, but there's definitely a process. So,
do you think failure is important? Do you think there's a lot of value in failure?
So everyone defines failure a little differently. So in the context you're referring to it, I believe, I will say failure is necessary. And this is actually in my course. So I put a picture of a person in the middle, and then to the right of the person is success, and to the left of the person is failure. This is what we're taught. We're taught if you want to succeed, avoid failure, right? Because don't get the F at school. Avoid failure. Get the A. The A is on the other side of the F. Here's the problem. Failure and success are not opposites. Success is actually on the other side of failure. So think of you as you're here, and then there's failure, 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 and then success. Because what's interesting about success is that it feels like failure every step of the way until one day you're successful. So is failure necessary and important in the context we're talking about it? Yes. Now, are there stages of life and levels of life that you can live in? And I don't want to get too far out there for people where you can't fail if you even try, like where the failure doesn't exist? Yes. There are levels like that, and it's fun as heck. But in the sense that we talk about, we're talking about struggles and failing and scraping knees and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely, we need failure.
Yeah, I always say that, as long as you learn something from failure and no one got hurt, it's the best possible outcome, really, because, any lesson you can take away from failing is going to help lead you to where you do win, like you were saying.
Absolutely. So I have something I call SLIQ, SLIQ. You can succeed, you can learn, the I is just a small I, or you can quit. Succeed, learn, or quit. If you think about it that way, you really cannot fail.
Yeah.
If you succeed, obviously that's not failure, you succeed. If you learn something, did you really fail or did you learn? Learning's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or you can quit. Can you fail at something you're not doing?
No.
You can't. So that's really all you can do. There is no such thing as failure, actually.
Nice. Well, I would say that this interview has not been a failure.
I hope not. I had fun.
It's been wonderfully successful for me and hopefully for our Facebook Live audience and our listeners. So if people want to find out more about what you do, where can they check that out at?
All over social media as Broke Is No Joke. You can email me directly, josh@brokeisnojoke.org, or just go to my website, brokeisnojoke.org. It's the fastest way.
Very nice. All right. Well, I'll let you get out of here and watch the Super Bowl and stuff. All right.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch a little bit.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you have your own big idea you've made a reality, we want to hear about it. Let us know by emailing imadethis@doanything.media. We'd love to share your project, or maybe even talk to you about it. You can follow the show at I Made This Show, all one word, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Again, that's at I Made This Show. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or on our website, imadethis.doanything.media. Again, that's imadethis.doanything.media. And if you do subscribe, make sure you leave a review so we can shout you out on the show. I'm Bill Meeks. Thanks for listening.